Well, another year, another winter, and here we started. I fired up the outdoor wood furnace yesterday. When you own one of these, I think the important thing is you want it close to your, not close to the house, but where you can see it from the house, because your furnace is always talking to you, and when there's smoke like that, that tells me everything is okay. The wood inside is just smoldering. I don't have to get up, in the middle of the night to see if the fire's still going. I keep a spotlight by one of the windows in the bedroom that I can shine down on it just to make sure everything's okay. And this one is okay. That is a good sign. I have noticed over the years, when I first started using my outdoor wood furnace, it's got a 36-inch deep firebox, and I would cut my wood long, man. And I noticed every year I seem to be cutting my wood shorter and shorter, and it's like around February I called it hardy knee. My knee would just start killing me because you got to kind of like squat down to get the firewood into the firebox. And after a long winter, you start to feel it. The second thing that I have noticed about having an outdoor wood furnace, now I think this is as I'm getting up in age here, I've been firing this thing up later and later into the season. I used to start it like mid-October, and then I waited until Halloween, and then I would keep it fired between Halloween and Easter. And now here we are in the middle of November, and I just now got it fired up. But it hasn't been that cold, and we've been just using a space heater in the one room of our house that we occupy. But now we have a cold spell coming in. We have technically endured our first snow of the year, and it's just a light dusting, but they're calling for big snow up on the lake. So I am about 30 miles inland from Lake Erie. And this area is generally referred to as the snow belt. So as long as Lake Erie is not frozen, that cold air that those darn Canadians send in over the lake picks up moisture off the lake, and it dumps 2 feet of snow overnight. We have avoided such catastrophes here for the last few years. We've had really small snow amounts, but we're always at risk. This is a Hardy H2. It was made in Philadelphia, Mississippi, but this company is not in business anymore. And this is a non-pressurized boiler. So this is a 100-gallon tank of water which surrounds a firebox, and it heats up water. And it works just like the heater in your car or truck. It just heats up water. A pump pushes it through a heat exchanger. So in my house, we have your traditional forced air gas furnace. And in the ductwork, we just put in some angle iron and we slid this heat exchanger. It looks like a big, thick radiator. The PEX lines run under the ground into the house. There's 4 of them, 2 for the loop for the heat exchanger and 2 for the domestic hot water. And the temperature is always between 150 and 170 degrees Fahrenheit. I'll let you international viewers Google that for your own understanding. And that is how we heat our house. And that is also how we have the hottest shower this side of the Mississippi. Our showers are just awesome with this thing. It's just a never-ending amount of hot water coming into the house. The hot water is set up so, you know how like the main feed that goes into your hot water tank, there's a T installed, and you close the valve so that the water diverts underground into this, and it goes through a coil and then back into the house, so that the hot water tank is filling up with hot water. And that saves on your electric bill too. And I can just attest that our showers are awesome. If you were to go in the house, there is no indication that there's anything different on the way we heat our house, except there is a second thermostat on the wall. So we got 2 of those square Honeywell thermostats. One of them runs the house for the traditional forced air furnace in the basement, and the other one runs this. So when we fire this up, we just turn the other thermostat to off, and then the other thermostat on the wall runs this machine. So when the house needs heat, the thermostat senses it, and it sends this a little electronic guy into this furnace, and it turns on the water pump. At the same time, it turns on the blower of the forced air furnace in the house. Not the burners, just the blower. So that hot water circulates through the heat exchanger. The forced air furnace blows up through the heat exchanger, through the existing ductwork, and it fills the house up with heat. And we, as a policy, we keep our house as hot as we want in the wintertime. We do not conserve heat in the way we used to when we moved out here, because we bought this house off the bank and we didn't know it, but it's not on the gas line, and we had propane, and we froze to death. We couldn't afford to heat this house. We were making the kids do jumping jacks just to stay warm. And, you know, we were always keeping the house cold so we wouldn't get that big gas bill. But once we put this in, we keep our house as warm as we want. I just figure, you know, with all the labor that goes into your firewood and feeding this thing a minimum of twice a day, we are going to enjoy it. I've done a number of videos of our outdoor wood furnace, and let me just give you a brief overview of it and just show you how it works. This is how I like to trigger people in the world, and here comes a trigger alert. Free heat. I consider this free heat. And why do I say it's free heat? Because we don't have to worry about a gas bill coming in every month to pay the gas man. Yes, I am aware that I had to buy that chainsaw and the gas and the electricity, okay? And what about the taxes? I am just saying, to me, this is free heat, and we live a, I don't know, not an off-grid lifestyle, but we're getting there. You with me? The heat source is firewood, and this is how I developed my hobby in firewood. I guess you could say I was a hobbyist. And that also then led to my professional career, because I think anyone who ever has made a stick of firewood, you know, you always think about selling it. And that has led to Ohio Wood Burner, and it all started because of this. The way I saw it, if I couldn't sell a single stick of firewood, I could still burn it in my outdoor wood furnace. So I'm not really going to lose anything. But that was because at the time I didn't realize how easy it is to sell firewood. And it is easy. The Hardy works different than most outdoor wood furnaces. This has a forced draft, and this is the ash door. And I don't know, when the fire isn't burning, you have your embers in there, and that's what stokes back up when the temperature drops. There's a hole in this back corner where the blower motor blows into. And this is what the firebox looks like. And I have it filled up with offcuts right now. It's one of the byproducts of value-added firewood. You're left with a lot of offcuts like this. All my pieces I cut at 16 inches, and then sometimes you're left with a little piece like that. So I keep a big supply of offcuts, and I heat my house with them. So this is not burning right now. When the temperature is up, the wood just sits in there and smolders. I keep this poking stick here, and I just will come in and punch it. Sometimes the logs will get wedged in between each other, and you'll get what I call an arch where the wood doesn't go down to the grates, and that can put your fire out too. That is just stuff you learn from experience. It only takes like one midnight trip out to the furnace in the middle of a snowstorm to teach you how to more effectively load your outdoor wood furnace. So this is burning right now, even though we're up to temperature. And I don't want to risk the possibility of overheating. And this is what the back of it looks like. Here's the temperature. So we're at 170. We're getting a little bit over it right now. So I'm going to shut the door so it doesn't overheat. Okay. That's the... Try to do this with one hand here. And we'll shut the ash door. Anytime you open this door, anytime you want to open the firebox door, you should open the ash bin first, because after you get your hair and eyebrows burn off your head, again, another learning experience. But this is the business end of it. This is our temperature gauge. This is the aquastat. Whenever the temperature drops below 150, the aquastat kicks on through this relay, kicks on this solenoid, which picks up this flap. And then the blower motor kicks on and it blows into the firebox. This is a clean out right here. So that's looking down inside the firebox. And it brings the water temperature up to 170 degrees. And then the aquastat turns off the electricity to the blower, and then it sits and smolders. The second circuit is the hot water pump. This is called a taco pump. And wouldn't it be great if you could... Okay, you've heard that joke before. The taco pump pumps the hot water from the tank underground through these PEX lines, through the heat exchanger, and then the water comes back to the furnace through this loop, and it goes back into the tank at the bottom of the tank. The third loop is your domestic hot water, which is this and this. So this is the feed from the house. It will come in, it goes into the hot water tank. There is a coil of copper pipe in here, and it picks up the heat, and then the water comes out here and goes into the house and into the domestic hot water tank. This is set up too with a solenoid. So this is a non-pressurized boiler, and this cooling stack is the condensation goes up in here, cools, and drips back down for water. So you're always going to be losing water through the winter, and you have to refill it, and that is with this valve. Where is it at? Okay, so now I'm putting water into the tank just to fill it up. That is why I keep this block here to help me stand up on top of the furnace, because this is the top of the water. Okay, there's a float in there which is its own system where it will fill it up by itself when the water gets low. Okay. And then this is a low temperature switch. So if your fire were to go out at 2 o'clock in the morning and you're sound asleep, the house still needs heat and it keeps running, it will suck every bit of temperature out of your tank. This is a safety device. So if your water gets below 100 degrees, it cuts everything off so that you're not losing all of the temperature in your furnace. So the house just goes cold, but then that wakes you up to come out here and start the fire again. So that is my outdoor wood furnace, the Hardy H2. I mean, it says it right here. Outside wood burning furnace. Some people call these a boiler. I don't think it's technically a boiler. It doesn't boil the water. It's not pressurized. People call them OWBs. People call them outdoor wood furnaces. People call them water stoves. Call it what you want. I call it free heat. Trigger alert, free heat. This is, this is our 18th winter with this. I think I might have said last year it was our 18th winter. You know how it is when you get older, you can't keep track of your years. But that's how many years we've been dealing with this, and we got a nice warm house, no gas bill, and it has provided me a livelihood in firewood. How did I know that it was going to become a hobby and it was going to be something that I was just going to find enjoyable, something that would bring joy to my life, making firewood? But I got to admit, it starts to become a drag. I don't know if I was looking forward to it this year. It's because it's, every day, twice a day in the cold. After a while, you just want the day off. You really can't go on vacation in the wintertime unless you fill this up with like some type of a glycol. But when the kids were in the high school and stuff, we never went on vacations in the winter anyways. But now our kids are moved away and it'd be nice to go visit them. But now we technically can't unless we have a trusted friend that could come over here and feed this twice a day. But that causes other problems as well. But those are the trade-offs for free heat. There's nothing free in this world. Everything has a cost. It is just a matter of what's important to you. And the important thing to me was not having a gas bill. All right. Guys, there we go. This is winter 25-26 with the Hardy H2 and heating the house and heating the hot water. Hope you guys enjoyed this and everyone have a great day.